on, everybody? It's been a long time since I've been on with Raj. You guys know what's up. I'm not going to spend too much on time on the intro. The season is on it upon us. Training camp is upon us. The 23rd, all the big guys report. So I figured I'd get on here with Raj. He'll be there, I guess, every day or close to every day reporting. So be sure to check out Raj's channel, RSF 49ers Live. And he'll be all over it. Probably his Instagram, his Twitter too. So everybody get on that. Raj, how you been, man?
I'm good. I like the new intro. I like that. I saw Fred Warner flexing, got me a little hyped up. The off season. Sometimes you get lost in the off season, so busy. Honestly, for a while I was kind of like enjoying, but now football's back. Training camp is this week. I'm excited for it. I'm back in the mode. I think once I set foot on Levi's on Thursday, it's gonna be like, oh, we are fucking back. We are back. So I'm hyped.
It's been a long off season, especially after what happened. I watched the receiver Twitter or thing on uh, Netflix, and that brought up a lot of bad feelings. I was watching those. For anybody, I'll start with it. We'll start with it because that's one of my topics. So before we get into all the stuff with Ayuk and Brock Purdy's disrespect starting all over again, did you watch The Receiver on Netflix?
Yeah, so I went and was at the premiere event. Like there's a few of them, but I went to one of the premiere events
That's right, you
and we
did.
did some content and all that stuff. So that was cool. I saw like the sneak peek, the first episode. So I was juiced, and then when it came out, I watched it that week it came out. I just binge watched the whole thing, and it was good. And of course, the end. I don't know if everybody's watched it, but I mean, you guys can assume what happened. It follows the 2023 season of the
Yep.
49ers and several other teams of the players that were on there, and it ended in heartbreak. Every team ended in a heartbreak of the players they followed, but it was definitely cool to get an insight of all the players. I feel like doing the social media stuff, you kind of see a lot of what goes on with the players. You get to kind of know Kittle and Debo and them, but they really gave you a sense of what it's like to be living their life and stuff. So it was cool. You feel a little bit more emotionally sad for those guys because you really saw their life behind the scenes. So yeah, at the end of the day, it was just heartbreaking. But I mean, it was still a great season, and now I'm excited for the Niners to run it back this year, and hopefully we don't have another heartbreaker.
Yeah. Um, I enjoyed it until the last part of the first to last episode. So episode 7
Hmm.
going into episode 8, they're talking. They showed the Niners playoff run. We know how those games went. We know how both of us probably felt that even in the divisional game, the season could be over the way the Niners were playing. And then you go to the Lions game, and it's more of the same, right?
Yeah.
Um, to overcome that and have the joy of we're going back to the Super Bowl, but knowing what's coming on
Hmm.
the special, that was man. So when the Super Bowl ended, I didn't talk for like a couple days. Like I
Hmm.
walked out of my brother's room, we watched it. We were both like, kind of half standing up towards the end of the game. And when he went in for that touchdown, the Chiefs, I walked out of my brother's room, took my hat, kind of tossed it in my room, went into my room, turned off the light, and I just sat there and watching that over again. Oh, it's like a breakup with a girl that you really, 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 really like, but it's super toxic.
Hmm.
And so, like, there's always that yin and that pull of like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? That's what the Niners are for me. They're like a really toxic relationship. It's like I'm the one who's always giving,
Hmm.
and they're not giving back. So, yeah, it was rough to watch. Interesting to see things from the perspective of Devonte Adams.
I was just thinking about it
Wow,
while we were watching. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was. Give me some, because we have a lot of people that do 49ers content that still are stuck on Trey Lance. They're like they cannot move, they cannot get behind Brock Purdy, and to think how Kyle hid so much of Jimmy's inabilities in this team, and still he would screw up. To see him go to a team where that protection was gone, that
Hmm.
structure was gone, it really showed just how not really good of a quarterback he really
Yes.
is. He's really not. He's really not that good. He's
He's
he's actually
inept. He really inept. Yeah.
Yeah, that really opened up my eyes. Man, Devontae Adams, he's like, I got to get myself out of here. I'm gonna die.
That was my like out of everything. Obviously, the Niners stuff was cool, seeing Kittle and Debo. But man, I sat there and I was just like blown away because me, you, a lot of other Niner fans, we sat here. We went through the misery of having Jimmy Garoppolo as a quarterback. You know, when he first came in, he won us over. Then he got the injury and he came back and he wasn't it. He wasn't it. And you're right, Kyle masked his insufficiencies. He masked his flaws, and it's like he put this great team around. He schemed people up. He schemed Debo like it's amazing because people trash on Kyle Shanahan, but he made Jimmy Garoppolo look like a good quarterback out there leading this team to the Super Bowl. It's like, oh well, Jimmy took this team to the Super Bowl. Oh my god, it wasn't because of Jimmy. It was despite of him. It was because of everything Kyle did, the defense, the weapons around him, everything. Brock Purdy's a whole different person. He's a great quarterback. And seeing Devontae Adams, I mean, I remember the play. I remember it. Like I remember on Sports Center and ESPN when he blew up. But watching the receiver, they really went in detail. He got so pissed, wide open. I mean, it was the most wide open play that you could think of. And the commentators were like, "That was the most wide open pass of Devontae Adams' career. It is the most wide open he's ever been in his career, and he missed it. And Devontae comes back. You could see he was seething, like he could not wait for Jimmy to be benched, to be gone. And when they made the coach switch, like he was the happiest. He was leading the charge in the locker room because
He was so happy.
he knew Jimmy wasn't going to be there because he was the old coach's guy, right? Because the New England and everything, Josh McDaniels, whatever. He didn't care if it was a rookie. Aiden O'Connell, he didn't care as a rookie. He's like, he's better than Jimmy. He's a rookie. He was so excited. And the craziest thing is Devontae Adams still had over 1,000 yards despite all that quarterbackage. So like, he's a dog, man. Devontae's a dog. Much respect to that guy. Unbelievable. And we did get to see the flies, but receiver definitely great show. Bitter ending, but it did get me hyped up for football season. I can't wait, man. I need the Niners to get back to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I need that distraction in my life because my real
Yeah.
life isn't that great right now, other than maybe like one person that's in it.
Yeah.
And I will. Her name will be. She will be. I won't say her name on here just for whatever. But other than her in my life, like that's I need this 49ers team to come back. Football is like for me, it's tough because I get so emotionally invested that it like ruins my personal life.
A lot of people do.
So yeah. Yeah, I was if you guys haven't watched it and you have Netflix and you avoid watching it because you know what the end's gonna be, watch it anyways. It's a
Still
really
great.
good watch. It's a
Yeah.
really good watch. It just reaffirms, a lot of our whatever about the game and how we're hurt and broken down after the game. But at the same time, in the end, people, whether a team win or loses, it really doesn't affect our life. So it puts perspective on things that athletes pretty much have to go with the same mindset. They're like, look, my life still goes on. I got to still get ready for the next season to come back and do it all over again. So if the players got to do it all over again, us fans, we don't even have half the responsibility that they do. So we owe it to them to figure out a way to get over it and come back. So real quick, I want to say hi to my brother, 49er Minded. He's had COVID. I hope you're doing better, man. COVID sucks. Uh, me and me and Raj, me and Bash, and a couple other people will be doing a lot of content this year. A lot of the shows will be coming back. So be sure to watch out for that. Me and 49er Minded, I think we're going to have like a Monday show uh, doing kind of like a wrap up of the game of the previous day. So be sure to look out for that. He says his COVID is gone. Thank you. Thank you, God. It's pretty bad. I want to go to the Brandon Aiyuk drama that is, I mean, Devontae Adams' name even got dragged into it, which is hilarious. But you cover the 49ers. You have a little bit more insight of the team than I do and or ever will have. Man, what's your sense of everything going on in that situation? To me, it's just like, I can't believe this, but it is what it is. It seems like every 49er contract negotiations kind of plays itself out like this. So I'm not really surprised. But what is Raj's feeling about everything?
Yeah, honestly, every year we have one of these dramatic situations, the contract. I mean, I've been back and forth. Me and Larry were talking about it for weeks. We said, I wouldn't be surprised if he finally asked for a trade. But I said this like months ago because Debo did it, right? And he asked for a trade, but that was in April. Now, all of a sudden, at the midnight hour, boom, Brandon Aiyuk asks for a trade, a week before training camp, basically. And he puts, trying to get some leverage. It's just a back and forth. The Niners, they don't want to budge from their offer. They offered him what they offered him. Brandon Aiyuk wants more. The market value has changed, he's mentioned, and he wants to be closer to that Amon-Ra deal. Like, Brandon Ayuk's a great player, but it's just getting to the point where it's starting to get a little distracting. And for a team that's trying to get to a Super Bowl, like, we don't need these distractions. I get it. These players, they want to get what they're worth, guaranteed money. They want to get what they feel like they deserve. And I 100% am cool with that. Like, anybody that works, for a living, they want to get what they feel their value is. Any job you have, you try to get raises on your reviews and stuff like that. So I get that. But at the same time, like, the way that this has gone about is just they drag it out. It's the same thing every year. They don't learn their lesson. We saw Debo, he wasn't that great, when he got the contract. Bosa wasn't that good when he got the contract. Kittle, he got a little banged up that year. He's still been good, but he kind of wasn't as great as he was before that year. He got the contract. Fred Warner, he kind of took a little bit to get going too that year. He got the
Yep.
contract. So it's a lot of pressure on these players. I'm sure trying to live up to the big contract, but that's why they get paid the big. But that's what they signed up for. So I get it from both sides. I see how the 49ers have tried to attack this, and they're gonna stick with their guns. This is the way they do it. This is the way they operate it. But I feel like some one of these years they just got to get away from that and just offer the damn contract early. Because if they would have offered this contract after the season, they probably could have got him for like 23, $24 million a year. But then the market kept going up. So I see where Brandon Ayuk's coming. But the way he's kind of been playing about it and filming a lot of the content for documentaries, and both sides haven't been perfect. Both sides have issues, and they both have good. I think both sides have an argument. Like Brandon Ayuk, right? He says, "Well, I was number 7 in receiving targets, right, or reception, sorry, yards or whatever, 7th, but 31st in targets. Like, he was very efficient, so he can use that. But then the 49ers can say, well, you didn't have a lot of single coverage or one-on-one coverage because you had Debo, you had Kittle, you had McCaffrey, you had all these weapons around you. So at the end of the day, they just need to sit there, figure it out, because there's a comment in there and they says, what do we have to do to win the Super Bowl? We got to have all our players on board. We got to have like all the Avengers there. We got to be healthy, and we got to stop having these distractions, because at the end of the day, this is a distraction. What do we have to do? What do we have to do?
Newsflash and breaking news to all fans, players. It's all about the money, people. They love the game, but they love that money just a little bit more. So get rid of that illusion that players are like, I'll play for free. No, that's not happening. Yeah, man, it's weird because he's a really good player, and I really wouldn't want to see him on another team. But is he 33 to 35 million dollar a year
That's the
worth?
question.
I don't think so. If you asked me, and I had this on when I was on with Ted and my buddy from work, James, go check that stream out. It was about 2 days ago. Um, we were talking about if you had the decision and somebody said Devontae Adams right now, straight up, or Brandon Ayuk, plus a little bit of other stuff, who would you go for? Would you stick with your guns with Ayuk, or would you go Devontae because he is a legitimate number one receiver? I hate to break it to you, people, and I hate to sound like one of those Twitter GMs or 49er fans that react to everything with like so much like, oh my god. I would go to Devontae Adams every day and twice on Sunday. Legitimately. Right now, in a small window. I'm not saying career. I'm talking about if you had to ask me and I had a gun to my head, what would I do? I would take Devontae Adams every single
Yeah.
time. What about you?
I mean, I'd probably go Devontae also, but knowing that he's 31, his peak is dwindling. Brandon Ayuk's going to have a little longer career. He could be better in the next coming year. So you have to understand that. But at the same time, Devontae's proven. He knows he's a dog. He like I said, he put up over 1,000 yards with the quarterback situation he had last year. It was amazing. So I feel like given the team around him now, he'd be unbelievable with the 49ers for another 2 years. And then you do have to realize that the Niners would have to say, "Hey, look, man, you don't expect top tier targets. This is what Brandon Ayuk got. Like, you might get that amount of targets here. Like, that's where you have to kind of figure out and talk to Devontae and say, "Hey, look, I know you're the alpha, but at the end of the day, we might have to limit some of your targets because we have a different way we run the offense. I think he'd be okay because it's a winning team at this point in his career at 31. What's eluding him is a championship. So I think it would be okay for him. I would love Devontae. He's a great player. Not saying that I don't think Brandon Ayuk is or will be continuing. Again, you put him on another team, maybe you give him the 150 targets that he wants. He'd put up Justin Jefferson numbers and he can prove himself because he's kind of hinted towards that, during his interviews during the offseason. He says, look, man, you put me on a team with a good quarterback, you put me on a team, I'm going to show you I can ball. And that's the mentality that Ayuk has, which is great because any top flight receiver wants to have that mentality. And they got that dog mentality. Like if I'm the top receiver, I'm wide receiver one, I'll show you I can separate, I can get open and stuff. So I respect his opinion. I just feel like, he's kind of taking advantage of this. He is making this a little bit more of a spectacle, if you will, with the social media and this and that. But at the same time, I get it where he's saying the market value has gone up and the Niners haven't acted accordingly. So I know a lot of people say 30 million is too much for Brandon Ayuk, but the fact of the matter is the Niners did wait a little too long and now the market is up and he did have a great season, and another team probably would pay him closer to 30 million. Like, is he better than Amon-Ra statistically? No. Over the course of his career, probably not. It's very close. Brandon Ayuk is a very talented receiver. So could he justify making 30? He probably could in some, like, again, you put him on another team, you give him the targets Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson gets, he'll probably put those stats up, right? But at the end of the day, man, $30 million because we have all these other weapons, because we have a Debo and we're paying them $23 million. It's hard for us to justify that, to pay two receivers that much money. The Eagles did it though. They paid AJ Brown and Devonta Smith a lot of money. So it's hard for us to kind of wrap our head around having all those receivers when we're a run first team. But hey, if we want to win a championship, we got to have the best players on the roster. So I get where, again, I see where Brandon Ayuk's coming. The market did go up, unfortunately for the 49ers, because they waited on their hands and their offer wasn't good enough. Market went up. And unfortunately, if they want to keep him, they got to pay him a little bit more. So it's an interesting situation. It's a dramatic situation like it is every year. But I feel like because the Niners, they wait every year, they kind of do this to themselves. It's kind of self inflicted because they're like waiting around and they just think because they're the Niners, teams are going to want to sign with them. But again, they did go back and forth. Ayuk said, I did want to sign at one point, and then he didn't. I think he has people in his ear, and
Of course.
that may not be good. Of course, influences from other people, friends, family. So it's tough, man. I feel these negotiations are always frustrating for fans. And the players, I know they don't want to get involved like their teammates. They're going to support their guys because that's what they do. But you got to think that it has some type of impact in the locker room. If he's not there, so my big question, and I'll ask you, this week is training camp. Is Brandon Ayuk going to be there? I would guarantee he's not going to be there. I would probably
No.
guarantee he's not going to be there. And that kind of sucks for the other players, although they know what the issue is. But what do you think? Is he going to be there in training camp? Is that going to have an impact on the team? What do you think?
I don't think he's going to be there to start training camp. I think there's going to be a little bit of a holdout. How much money is he willing to lose? That's up to him. I really hope the situation with Ricky Paracel is resolved soon because this is a really important year, training camp wise and season. If we think, from what we think, me and you as a fan, what we think Ricky Paracel could be to this offense. This is a really important year. And now with BA maybe not there for a while, this cat needs to shine in training camp and preseason because, the Niners are always looking ahead with the roster for movement and contracts. This is going to be an important year. So in a way, maybe this works out better for Ricky Pearsall to shine now that BA is going to be, absent for however long that is. And maybe we get to see a really good amount of him in preseason too. Maybe we're like, wow, this guy's the second coming of Puka Nacua or something like that. Because if that's the
Uh,
case, if we get the second coming or even like a bargain bin version of Puka Nacua and Ricky Pearsall this year, I mean that's for the Niners' future. And we always talk about how things going forward, how things are going to transpire and how long can we keep a window going or so. I don't think he's going to be there. I think it's detrimental to him more than it is detrimental to the team. I think it's detrimental to him. Uh, I just I feel like the Niners they're kind of caught in this way of doing things, and to me, I look at it like this: the way you've been doing things has been good, but not good enough. So like to keep going the same way with contracts and all this other stuff, how you build your team, how you ignore positions in the draft all the time. Me and my brother were talking about it. Like the Niners are a certain way with how they build their team. They're more about the people that handle the ball than the people that protect the person who's distributing it, right? And every year we always come up to the same problems, that same things that keep arising, just like the contract situation. So like the Niners, to me, it's like got to change things up a little bit because whatever we've been doing has been pretty good, but not good enough. And these overdone, super just dramatic contract negotiations, why?
Yeah.
Why do it? It doesn't help you as a team. That's a little bit of me being pissed because it's like we haven't been able to close the deal in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That it's doing things exactly the same way all the time. To me, it's kind of disturbing, including the way they do contracts. But who am I? I'm just a fan that lives in upstate New York. So what do I know?
What do we know? What do we know? But like you said, I think something interesting there was Ricky Persall. Like that was a guy they drafted because they do have uncertainties for the future at wide receiver. Not only him, but Cowing. They have Debo. This is the last year he has guaranteed money. The Brandon Aiyuk contract situation. They knew this coming into the draft, so they took the wide receiver, which at the time people are like, we don't really need a wide receiver, but kind of do. Depends on what they do with Debo. Depends what they do with Aiyuk. Kind of need a receiver, but he is coming in. Last week he reported to camp, but he was on the NFI list, non-football injury list, and I want clarification on that. I need some clarity on that. This week, when they go to training camp, I was talking to Larry. I said, I'm sure somebody is going to ask him in that media room when they're talking to Kyle Shanahan what the hell's going on with Ricky Persall. We're going to get some answers this week about what's going on with Ricky. Well, if he comes back this week and everything's fine, then that's good. But I do want to get a little clarification because this is a big year for Ricky, as a rookie for everybody on this team. And if he comes in and he can't really get a good start on training camp, he's going to be a little bit behind the eight ball. And we can't afford that if Brandon Ayuk's not going to be at training camp. So that's a big story to kind of keep in mind here moving forward as the week gets rolling with training camp. I need to see Ricky Persall go out there and ball out. They did draft him in the first round. This is the first round pick they've had in what, three drafts? And it's a wide receiver. And a lot of people wanted offensive line. They wanted this, they wanted that. It's big. This is a lot of pressure on Ricky P. I think he could be good. He looks great on film. He looks, like a solid player. But one thing with Brandon Ayuk, and even Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk's a great downfield blocker, and everybody on the 49ers receiving corps is a great blocker because you have to. That's kind of the thing with Kyle Shanahan. He was a great blocking guy when he was in his heyday. He wasn't the greatest receiver, but he could block. No block, no rock. And that's why players like Danny Gray just haven't really caught on because they haven't been able to really block, and then they get hurt and things like that. So Ricky Persall, first step, block. If they were to get Devontae Adams, could he be a downfield blocker like Brandon Ayuk? Brandon Ayuk's very selfless when it comes to that. So that's a underrated quality that BA has. And again, I do hope that they get BA because he fits this team really well. He was the guy that Kyle Shanahan traded up to get. Again, if they can't figure it out and they got to do what they got to do, I understand that's the business. But yeah, if they can't figure out a contract, he'll be playing on that 5th year option, and then they got to figure something out at some point in the season. But yeah, you're
That's
right.
what I'm thinking too.
He's gonna lose a lot of money, BA. And in that meantime, I hope Ricky Persall is there at training camp and he could just get all the experience he needs, rack up the routes, rack up the yards, rack up the reps, and ball out because we need somebody to step up if BA's not there.
Right. And we know how Kyle is with rookies and young players. He tends to shy away from them.
Yeah.
Pirasol's got to do everything in his power to be the what do you call it? There's always that constant that happens. He has to be the thing that doesn't usually happen, which is Kyle goes with his same group of guys all the time until
Hmm.
proven otherwise. And he needs to really work on changing it. If he's not in camp, if he's hurt, he's not going to be able to do that. The Niners have been knocking on the door the last couple of years with these receivers like Danny Gray, Ronnie Bell, and now with Pearsall. So, like, which one of these guys is finally going to stick, man? Like, is Pearsall the dude? I'm looking at the 49ers news a couple of days ago. I'm like, really? Already? He's hurt? It's like, come on. Like, we haven't even started training camp yet. Like, is it a mental health thing? You hope it's not, that's always a worry.
Hmm.
Uh, but like, did he fall down a flight of stairs and twist his ankle or something? Like, what's going on? So hopefully we get some news soon, like you said, 23rd. So Tuesday the 23rd is officially when all the big dogs report. So
Yeah.
it's the unofficial official first day of training camp. Although they
Yeah.
won't be practicing till who knows what, like a couple days later.
So first practice is Thursday. They report on the 23rd. I think Wednesday they'll do like, team specific meetings and this and that. Specific things. They might have practice, but it's not open. It's not an open practice. The first open training camp practice is Thursday, and that's when everybody's gonna be there, all the fans and everybody. I'm hyped up, man. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see how it goes down. But yeah, again, they did say that his injury was not serious, but do need a little clarity on that because that doesn't. It's not a good look for your first round pick to
Mm-mm.
come in limped up. But it's not just him. There's a lot of other players coming in training camp, and I'm excited. There's a lot of players that I'm juiced up for. A lot of storylines. Obviously Brandon Ayuk's the big major one, the big one that's the spotlight. We don't anticipate him coming in and reporting this week, so it's important to know who else is stepping in. Obviously, Jawan Jennings, he looks like he's primed for a big year. He's really been putting in a lot of work this offseason. Debo Samuel, I every day on his Instagram, this man, he'll go to like a camp. He hosted some like Debo Samuel football camp. Right after that, it's like 9, 10, 11, 12 bro's posting his workout videos. Like you went to camp, hosted a camp, came home, had some dinner, and now you're training every day, no matter what he's doing. He's out there training. This guy's working so hard. He's captain. He's veteran. He's a leader. Like this guy's really
This might be
he
his last year or two here.
could be, and it's a big contract year for him, really, if you think about it. So Debo's putting in the work. He knows what it takes. He's been around the block a couple times with the contract situation. He knows what it takes. He's really putting himself in a position where he's primed for another big year, man. And I love Debo. I've always been a
I
big
hope he
fan
can
of him.
stay healthy. That's always
That's
his
always his
bugaboo.
issue, yeah. But he's oh god, I mean his training, his trainer hits me up on Instagram. Hey, we got some new content. You want to post something? Like sure, let's go,
That's
baby.
awesome.
And it's like man,
That's
and I see
awesome.
it, and I'm like, God, this guy. And I asked him one time, I was like, bro, this guy works every day. He's
Did you
like,
hear that, people? His dude got in contact with Raj and was like, post this content. That's awesome. Bro, that's
that's
really
good, bro.
awesome. Good for you.
It is though. It is though. But
It's awesome.
But it's cool though because when I talk to him, I'm like, God, man, he's like, you training with him every? He goes, it's hard for me to keep up because Debo, he says, Bo wants to work every single day, and he's like, there's some days where I can't, but he's like, yo, Nick, come, let's train, let's go. I gotta go, dog. He's like, what time can you fit me in? He's like, well, I got this. I could do it like 8 o'clock tonight. He's like, all right, bet 8 o'clock, whatever it takes. Like whenever the guy's available for him, he'll train. I'm like, that's crazy. And actually, at the clinic I work at, well, I used to work at now, but when I'm one of the student therapists there, his classmate was actually doing his internship at Exo Sports in Arizona, where Debo trains, and he says he saw him and he's like, dude, this guy's just a freak. Like he just sees how they're working all the athletes, but he says Debo specifically is just like it's crazy watching him work. He's just like in
Right.
another
Well,
level.
they have to train. You got to think they have to train for five, maybe 6 months
Yeah,
worth of season. If you get to the Super Bowl, that you have to prepare your body to withstand uh what a 17 game regular season plus two preseason games plus training camp plus the playoffs. And then if you get to the Super Bowl, yeah, no wonder he's losing or not he's losing sleep. He's causing his trainer to lose sleep or whatever because he's got to get all these different things done in order to get his training the right way this off season. Can't get my words together, but um it's funny that one of the guys in the Blood Moon says he won't lose sleep over that move. We say that now, and I've been one of the guys that's been a little hard on him for his injuries, but then watching that receiver documentary, like I said, I have a newfound respect for Debo. Kittle, I love Kittle too. A little bit of that stuff that I watch with just all like the talking to yourself and mindset stuff, like whatever. I don't know. His parents, like that's just he's wound up differently. It's just to me, it's I don't know. But Kittle's still awesome. But like again, this is an important year because Debo might be out after this year with the IU contract. And again, we talked about Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell, if he can step up, he's going to make the losing of Debo Samuel a little less painful. So
there's a lot of receivers on this team, and I don't know. The wide receiver is a big group, man, and I feel like that's going to be a battle in camp because they're not guaranteed to make it, right? You got
Nope.
Debo, you got Jennings. Right, okay, those two guys are definitely going to make it. Okay, if Brandon Ayuk's there, he'll make it. That's three right there. You got Ricky Pearsall, first round pick. That's four. Is Jacob Cowan going to make it? That's five. How many receivers are they going to keep? Is Danny Gray going to make it? Is Ronnie Bell going to make it? Conley. Who else is going to make this roster as a wide receiver? Trent Taylor, is he going to make it just because he's BFFs with George
I
Kittle?
don't
Like,
think he is. I don't think Trent Taylor's gonna make it. I don't know. Whatever. He's best friends.
he's just
Yeah.
there so he can hang out with Kittle for a couple months.
Yeah. Must be
Right?
nice.
Must be
Must,
nice getting paid.
must be nice to get paid to hang out with your buddy. I wish I could
Yeah,
get paid to hang out. I wish I got paid to hang out with Raj. No,
I know.
I'm kidding.
Pay. Yeah, that'd be cool. Pay. Come on over here. Come to the Bay. Pay us a
Yeah.
couple cool $1 million while we go train.
Yeah. I'm
Do
gonna go hang out with
you
Raj for a couple days, get some food, get paid like, 50 grand or something. Yeah, that must be nice.
be
But
nice, bro.
let's talk. It's funny with injury. We talk about injuries. Did you see the news? I know you saw the news about Eric Armstead already hurt.
Oh, yeah.
and I saw somebody who was like, "That's the exact reason we got rid of him." And I was like,
It is.
"Exactly.
What it is. That's why
How
we
you
got. That's
hurt
why.
out? What happened?"
What are you doing? I mean, I know he had the plantar fasciitis and he's
Uh,
recovering from the MCL. He's recovering,
uh,
so he's still coming in rehabbing. And I get that's where it is. But at the same time, they gave him a $17 million contract. The whole reason the 49ers asked for a cut in his salary was those reasons. They knew he was going to come in injured to camp. Like he's on the PUP list. The Niners knew this coming in. Plantar fasciitis, off-season knee surgery. Bro, they got rid of him and they got two guys I'm really excited for, which training camp starts. Malik Collins, Jordan Elliott. And you know what? Gross Matos. I'm excited for those three defensive linemen.
Me
And then they
too.
got Leonard Floyd.
Yeah.
God, dog. They got
Stay
four nice
healthy.
little
Stay
defensive linemen.
healthy.
They got four defensive linemen who are very healthy. Knock on wood, they stay that way. And they're very consistent. They got four guys
Yeah, they got
instead of
some
one
pedigree
guy.
behind them. They've been in the league a little bit.
Four guys instead of one. And I loved Armstead. He was a great player. I'm not knocking his talent, but the guy was starting to become an injury prone player. He had chronic injuries. Plantar fasciitis? You kidding me? That injury's
It
probably
doesn't
going to
go
flare up.
away.
It's gonna
It do-
flare up, bro. They paid him $17 million. And he goes on his podcast and he's like, I can't believe the Niners, they wanted to cut me on a big substantial pay cut and take from 17 to 5,000, 5 million. That's outlandish.
yeah.
I got kids to feed. Bro, are you
You
trying to
got
feed
kid.
them
Well,
caviar?
when I hear rich folks say that I got kids to feed, I won't punch somebody.
Bro,
And
you
then
got
and then he's always half asleep when he's talking. Like his eyes are always like, dude, you need a nap? Like what's
And
going
then
on
and
there?
then and his social media, if you watch his social media, every single post is an ad for some food place, Panda Express. This Dave's Chicken Burgers, this place. Bro, that's why you're hurt. You're always eating food, bro. Like
Yeah,
it's
stop
come
eating.
on. We got four
Uh
players.
Blood
We
Moon's
got
like,
four
thank you for
linemen.
helping us, Trent Velke. Yeah,
Thank
I find
you.
it funny, man. I'm a little bit it's not that I get mad that players get hurt. I've had people attack me on Twitter and like you're an unfeeling piece of crap. And, they sacrifice their body. I know. Just saying, man. When you spend more time on the disabled list every single year and then you want to get paid, this is football is a profession where your participation has a direct correlation with what you get paid. If you ain't participating, why would I pay you? If you if a 7-day work week and you're calling in 5 days, why
I
would I
shouldn't
keep
pay
you
you
as
for a seven. Yeah, I shouldn't pay you for a full work week. I'll pay you for the two that you're there. Now
don't
let me tell you.
understand that?
Now let me tell you this. The guy that got criticized last year, who the Niners paid a lot, he did get banged up a little bit. He might have been hanging out with Armstead, his teammate, and having Chipotle with them every day. But I'll tell you what, this guy has changed. He has been in the off-season grindhouse. Javon Hargrave. Holy crap. Have you seen this guy? He posted some videos, his Instagram, he's been showing his product. This guy has been working. He looks very, very yacked. He just looks like he's in great shape. He looks very refocused. Like he did get paid a lot of money last year, and there was a lot of criticism on Hargrave. This guy, I'm so happy to see him. Like I think he's going to go crazy. They got rid of Armstead. Now Hargrave's your like veteran in the middle. And you got these new guys, like I said, Collins and Jordan Elliott and all these other guys. Hargrave's the middle. He's that veteran guy. He's the guy that people are gonna look towards. And I think he knows that. He's like, yo, last year was a shell of what I could be. He's a good defensive lineman. And I think he took it upon himself to say, hey, you know what? I wasn't what I could be. And he has been absolutely putting in where I'm so excited to see this guy. not posting Panda Express and just posted him in the lab, baby. As you can tell, I think the 49ers did a really good job of getting rid of Armstead again.
Yeah,
I wasn't mad at it. I thanked Armstead for his time here. He's the longest tenure Niner. But gay man, hey, honestly, the Niners were right in asking for a pay cut. And I still can't believe that he went on his podcast and he cried about it. And now you're coming into the season injured. Like, this is why the 49ers were asking you for a pay cut. Just because you've been on the team for 9 years doesn't mean they didn't have the right to do that.
it's a business. It's a business in the end. You're not a smart investment. Sorry. I don't care if you've been here a while. Blood Moon says bus law. You know I hate Kinlaw with a passion. It had nothing to do with the whole Grant Cohn situation a couple years ago. I just don't like. I never liked him. I thought he sucked as a player. I thought he talked too much. He acted like he had arrived. He never did. He was like a discount store Warren Sapp, but without any of the pedigree. Like
Yeah, I
he ain't
felt
done
bad for
nothing.
him. The injuries really piled up. He kind of looked pretty. I wouldn't say
Looked
like great
okay
last.
last year.
He
He
wasn't
looked
bad last
better
year.
than he's been.
I was happy for him because he had a healthy season. He got through it. He was productive at times. He helped. He got a contract. Like, I'm glad he got a second contract in his career. I did talk to him, this offseason. I say, yo, man, good luck and everything. He was very nice. I'll say that. Like, I know he got a bad rap in his interview with Grant Cohn and everything, but like, honestly, just me interacting with him personally, nice guy. I'm glad that he has a second lease in his career. I hope he does good with the Jets. But you're right. For the Niners, it definitely was not great. He definitely was a bust for the 49ers, but I hope he turns it around and he can stay healthy with the Jets because nice guy, nice guy, nice guy. Someone in
Bashar, you
the
made a Bashar made a good point at Hargrave. Last year, Hargrave played like someone who got paid straight up.
yeah, yeah,
And listen, people, it's a natural thing for an athlete to rest on their laurels when they get paid. It happens in all sports.
yeah.
So like I was pissed, but at the same time, like I think I know what he's capable of when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. 49ers throwback. Aaron Juice felt hurt to take out of one guy who really needs to take a pay cut for this team is Juice, and he didn't want to. He said he felt hurt. These guys are sensitive, man. Like it's a freaking business, you know. I don't understand this feelings thing. I mean, you haven't been good enough to win a Super Bowl still for us. So like everything should be on the table. Any type of negotiation should be on the table. Now, if you're winning 3 Super Bowls like the Chiefs and someone tells you to take a pay cut, you tell them to kick rocks. Like I got 3
Hmm.
freaking rings, but you haven't done it. So like everything to me should always be it's fair until proven otherwise. But that's I'm not an athlete,
No,
I'm not sacrificing.
and I love Juice, and I saw that, and I saw the interview, and I saw the whole thing where he was like, "Oh, I felt bad, I had to take a pay cut," but that's part of being a veteran, one of the leaders. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do for the better of the team. But also, Juice is in a weird. He's in a position where most teams don't use a fullback. Honestly, he's lucky to be getting paid what he does at his position. He's very highly compensated as a fullback, and I love Kyle Juszczyk. I think he's one of the best players, on the Niners over the last decade. One of the best free agent signings the 49ers have had in a very,
Absolutely.
he was great when Kyle Shanahan came over and they took him and they paid him handsome. And I was like, dude, got fullback? What do we need? Why are we paying him so much? And I've seen what he's done, the blocking and everything he does. He's so good. He's a little weapon, right? Extra weapon. Very, very good player. But he wouldn't even be getting paid half of the scratch he's getting on any other team. So he should be lucky. He should be happy. I mean, he took a pay cut, but any other team wouldn't even pay him anywhere near that. They don't even
No.
use the position. It's a position that most
He's
teams
in an
don't
extinct
utilize.
position.
He is,
What is there
and I
like?
love him though. He's
Is
great.
there
He's
like
great.
3 teams that run that offense maybe in the NFL?
He's great. But I mean, you're getting paid market value. There's what, like you said, yeah, 3 fullbacks getting paid in the league. What is there to go by? You know what I mean? So it is, and you know what? Running backs in general, people that play in the backfield on offense just don't get paid much. That's why CMC, when he got his extension, it was like mind blowing. The fact that he got paid 19 mils. They're paying running backs good money now. It was wild. And Juice kind of falls in that area, so he's not going to get paid a lot. But hey, I get it. His feelings are hurt. You take a pay cut. I'm a working man. If they cut my scratch, Aaron, I'd be a little pissed too. So I see
Right.
where he's coming
True.
from. I do see where he's coming from, but at the same time, bro, you don't have much legs to stand on because there's not a lot of fullbacks in the league. So I
No.
see, I always see both sides. It's not like one side's wrong or other, but he needs to realize it is business. But you know what? That's something that goes into the fact of, hey, the 49ers had to take some pay cuts for a couple players, Fred Warner, George Kittle. Players have had to convert salary into a bonus and this and that so they can pay other players. The next year, if Brock Purdy has the season we think he's going to have, a lot of players are going to need his pay cut. A lot of players are going to need pay cut.
One of the last things, and then we'll get out of here. First, I want to say, I like this. He says, "Let's not forget his wife making money off of his clothes design." I understand what you're saying and how you got to look at it from both sides, but I still, when these athletes, I don't know, I don't want to speak on it because it comes off like I'm just a disgruntled hater. So, the last thing before we go is, it's training camp's about to start, and without even blinking an eye, they're already talking about Brock Purdy and disrespecting him, keeping him out of the top 10. I know there's a lot of content creators out there, and I could say this, and I really don't care. But and this has nothing to do with Raj. This is just me thinking. There's a lot of people out there that their content is based on their divisive feelings about Brock Purdy.
Oh yeah,
it just is. I'm sorry, and a lot of people, it works because they get a lot of people watching them, and they get a lot of interaction, a lot of engagement. I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, what does it serve the fan base, and what does it serve the media to continually doubt this guy? You don't have to say he's the best in the world. You don't have to say he's a top 3 quarterback, but when you keep going with the tired ass, oh, he's a game manager and a product of the system. All quarterbacks are a product of the system. I hate to say it. To be placed in anywhere outside the top 10 to me is sacrilege, but I don't know. How do you feel about it, man? I get tired of it. It seems like it's an old narrative that gets people to watch and gets engagement. So do they really feel that way as a person who makes content, or do they just do it because they know how to stir the pot?
I think the majority of them just do it because they know it's going to get clicks and views. Because if they say it, all the Niner fans are going to get riled up and blah, 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 and go crazy. And we're going to post it and we're going to talk about it on our show. And it's giving them clicks. And like Cam Newton, he
It
says
is.
something. And then if you ever look at people that do that, if you ever look at their like podcasts and stuff, they get like decent views and stuff like that. Whenever it's something like Brock Purdy or something very controversial, that video will go, it'll be like super crazy view, a lot of views, a lot of engagement. Like I remember the Cam Newton thing about Brock Purdy. I saw all his videos on all his social media platforms. The views were, it was okay. I was like, I get more views than this guy, Cam Newton. I get more views, whatever. And
That's
then I see the big one, like the Brock Purdy. Let's go back to Brock Purdy. That video was like, the views were crazy. I was like, oh shit. So in a sense, a lot of them do it because they know it drives the engagement, and that's their, if a lot of people are doing this as career or for money and monetization, they know what they're doing. But I honestly think there's a lot of people that just don't they hate Brock, but they don't care about him. They still think he's gonna fall on his face. A lot of people haven't believed in him because of the fact last week in a draft, blah. But a lot of it though is for the ratings. Nick, like Nick Wright, whatever his name is. That guy does. I think it's part of it. He's just biased because he's a Chiefs fan, and then part of it is he knows it's gonna get views. Like all those, it's entertainment. At the end of the day, a lot of these sports shows that we watch on TV and podcasts, YouTube, whatever, it's entertainment, and people know. Like me and you, behind the scenes, when we're making up videos and we're talking about topics, oh, people love that topic. We sit there and say that stuff. Everybody else does that because they know, oh, this is the topic. Like Brandon Aiyuk. Why do so many people put videos out about him? Because it's a trending topic, and you put his name in it, it's going to go through the algorithm and it's going to go up to the top, right? Because it's a trending topic. So people know if you're in sports media, you know which topics are going to get you the views and which ones don't. Like if we sat here and talked an hour about, I don't know, Elijah Mitchell, most people probably wouldn't watch it. Although we like him, he's a very underrated player. If he's ever healthy, he could be
You're
good.
going to look at the amount of time that people watch the video when you look at
Yeah,
your like
yeah,
statistics on your
it's not
stuff,
going to be that much.
and that'd be
But
like
if,
a 2 minute or a 30-second like a watch
yeah,
duration. Like,
people are
people
going
don't
to
want to
lose
hear about
interest. They
Elijah
don't want to hear
Mitchell.
about Elijah Mitchell. But if we did a video of Brock Purdy,
I mean, you were disagreeing and arguing and
yeah,
talking about how you're ridiculous, you're garbage. How could you say? I mean, well, at least they do. At least on your channel, they would go crazy watching it.
yeah,
But it works.
yeah.
To me, it's just what kind of person do you want to be looked at, and what kind of how low are you willing to stoop to do
Yeah,
it? That's
absolutely.
Rob D.
Yeah.
Best thing I've ever seen. Criticize and ostracize. That's how to monetize on YouTube,
That's
brother.
literally it,
I
brother.
think I might. I think I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna look through this video after, and I'm gonna put that on freaking Twitter because
That's it, man.
it's
Criticize
the
and
truest.
ostracize.
Oh
It's
man,
facts right there.
I gotta. There we go.
I love it.
I put a
I
star.
love his name. Did you look at his name, Rob D? He says in
For only
parentheses,
30
for
million,
only
you
30
can
million a
feed a.
year, you too
That's
can feed a wide
hilarious.
receiver.
Rob D, that's good stuff, brother. That's awesome. Tyler Helton is a Chiefs fan. He's saying that Patrick Mahomes owns us. He does. He does.
Hey, you know what though? It's
Oh, hey.
facts. I'm not gonna sit there and say he's wrong. Tyler also though, he did say something nice about us. He goes, as a Kansas City fan, I love the content. Keep it going. Thank you. He
Thank
says,
you.
I think the 49ers versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. He says you need a new kicker, no cap. Actually, I think our
Hmm.
kicker was better towards the second half season.
I'm
He
still
made
a little bit unsold on him.
Jake
After
Moody.
seeing the offensive tackle, who was the tackle that we passed on when we got was it DeWand Jones or something like that? Then we went and got him as a kicker. I forgot because the one year we passed on the one guy from the Bucks and we ended up taking Kinlaw, and then the Niners
Oh
had
yeah.
another
What's his name?
Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs. That guy, I would.
Yeah, the Niners as good as they've been building the roster, they've had some pretty big misses.
I mean, you're not gonna be perfect. You're gonna have some misses in there, but that was probably one of the biggest misses they had in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, everyone, we're going to get out of here. Raj, if you have anything you want to talk, let everybody know where you're going to be doing this week. I mean, everybody knows that you're probably going to be at training camp and stuff. So
yeah, I'll be at training camp. Try to get as much work squeezed in before Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, training camp, baby.
Can't wait, Raj. Can't wait. I'll probably be in touch with you sometime later this week because we usually had a Thursday show. So if you're able,
we'll see. We'll see. This week's gonna
we'll
be.
see. It's gonna
I'm
be
also
crazy. I know.
I'm starting a new job-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm a lot of changes, but training camp, it's kind of it's always it's always bad timing around this time of the year. So
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Everyone have a good night. We'll talk to you later. I should be around later this week with some content. And of course, Raj, you know where to find him. RSF 49ers
Oh,
Live.
also, Aaron, I'm putting in my application to be the next president of the United States of America. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Raj does it all, guys. He even wants to run the country.
yeah, let's do it, baby.
Things
The
better than
only
what we've
reason is
had.
so I can get monetized on YouTube. Once I do it,
He'll put in
resign.
his own. He'll put in an executive order to get me, him, and anybody else who's been unfairly demonetized back monetized. So
You'll be back,
bye,
and then I'll resign, baby. Peace.
peace, everybody. Take care. We're out of here.